Wonderful. Let's get that up there. Okay. Let's get a photograph. Let's get a photograph done. Got your accounts. Okay, all good. Wonderful. Okay. All right, everyone. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Into the Cypher State. This is the premier public broadcast of Galactica Network. We are your primary identity stack. We are here to help you build your ultimate identity, your ultimate sovereign and free identity. This is a show that happens every single week. We try and make sure that we provide as much value as humanly possible to every single one of our listeners. Today we have Vaultcraft up. I believe we have Misha from Vaultcraft. Absolutely, really looking forward to this discussion. Welcome to the show, Misha. He's behind the Vaultcraft account today. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for having me here.
I really like it.
You are more than welcome, man. More than welcome. Okay, so Misha, this is probably your first time up. So just so you know, the process for this show is simple. We do a little bit of news discussion before we start, just on a couple of the latest notes in the industry, and then we'll get right into the discussion on DeFi, trying to make sure that everyone gets as much value as possible from your knowledge as a DeFi provider. So let's crack right into it. First things first, though, this is an open space, everyone. If you wish to come up and ask questions of Vaultcraft, pick the brains of Misha, who's obviously got a lot of DeFi knowledge, then please just put your hand up, request to speak. Happy to take questions in that form. We're also running the live stream today on YouTube, so you will be able to ask questions in the YouTube chat. You can also ask questions in the Discord chats and whatever if you wish to. So there's plenty of ways to interact with the stream and ask your questions. I hope to get some good ones. I've got plenty of my own, I promise. Yeah, it's going to be a good show. Quick disclaimer: this is just very important to remember that myself, any team members on the panel, we are your guides to navigating the Cypher state. We are not your financial advisors in any way, shape, or form. I'm sure that goes for Misha just as well. So just please, nothing said on this space constitutes financial investment advice. We're just trying to help you. We're just trying to give you a good basis, a good foundation on which to form your own opinions. Okay, well, Misha, it's really good to have you on, man. Really good to have you on. So it might be a good idea just to get a little bit of intro on you before we go to the news segment, and then we'll go on to the main topic.
Yeah, sure thing. So Misha OX, I am a core contributor to Vaultcraft. By the way, just let me know if there's like a lot of background noise. I can move around. But anyways, I have been working on Vaultcraft since it's launched end of last year. It is a permissionless DeFi universal tool for deploying, customizing automated DeFi strategies, basically sticking multiple strategies within a vault and using our proprietary technology to even boost yield there. I've been in the space since 2016. I was an early investor in Ethereum before I read the white paper and got sucked into the rabbit hole. I worked in TradFi, worked at Credit Suisse for a few years, and then in corporate strategy at SAP. So have a good amount of years in corporate under my belt, but fast forward to DeFi summer, was a big farmer of Compound, Yearn, and then ultimately I wanted to build my own protocol, which I did. We launched as Popcorn initially, but then we pivoted to Vaultcraft, which is more of a DeFi infrastructure toolkit, which we can get more into today.
Absolutely, man. No, it sounds amazing. So you had a protocol before Vaultcraft, now you're on Vaultcraft. Fantastic story, man. 'Cause I mean, I think that's quite a lot of experience behind you. That's it's nice to hear in the crypto industry. Like, there's quite a few founders out there who just don't have too much of a history with the kind of subject matter that they're actually working on. So it's always good to find a genuine founder who actually has like proper history in these things. Really good, really good. Thank you for building. So let's just crack on with a couple of pieces of news, shall we? So we've got one or two pieces. Firstly, I'd actually like to get your view on the current crypto market, just overall, like what the crypto market's looking right now. I believe we're having a bit of a red moment in the markets right now. I'd love to just get your personal take on where you think the market is, possibly where you think it might be going. Some people don't like to predict, completely fair. Just love to get your overall opinion on the market right now.
Yeah, so this is my opinion, not financial advice, obviously. But I mean, I do see, and it's really dependent on like a few things that actually are happening politically, and mostly based on what's happening in the U.S. market. I mean, we have obviously a very hardcore, I would say, political narrative associated with the market. I think like everyone can agree on that if you are a trader. You know, you have the debate coming up between Trump and Kamala. You know, I think like if you're following Polymarket, like that's a very good indicator of like where the polls actually stand. I think it's like super close. And, you know, if you know anything about American politics, you know, it seems like this election is probably going to come down to, you know, a few swing states as it did last time. So, you know, that's one thing. Another thing is, you know, the Fed is most likely going to cut interest rates at the end of the month and going to continue to do so. I think this has been sort of like a long time coming, based on, you know, a few reasons that are a bit like, I don't want to go into too much complexities there, but I think it is very much expected. And then we have the election. And so I think what's been happening over like the last couple of years, at least in the space that I'm working in, DeFi, you know, if you've been following like the development there, there's a lot of, I mean, crypto is a universe where new universes are basically born like every day. That's what it feels like. You know, if you work in crypto, like you feel like you're working multiple years within like 1 year, or it could even feel like that in 1 week.
Sometimes like you're in a different industry from time to time.
yeah, exactly. Because you're always glued in, and it doesn't stop. It's 24/7. So like you're actually, I mean, if you are working on proper infrastructure, you know, you're basically working like all the time. And like for DeFi, you're very much dependent on like other protocols. But, you know, that being said, I think like there's just been a ton of development, not only on like the L1 and L2 side, but I mean, in terms of like applications. So like the stack has become so much more robust. There's tools like Vaultcraft that can, you know, provide automated yield. There's, you know, more eccentric things like Eigenlayer that are, you know, sort of abstracting away from decentralization and making it super easy for newcomers in the space to tackle the technology. So there's just so much that's constantly being built. You know, the competition between like L1s in terms of like speed and safety and you know how cheap it is going to continue to grow, and all these things are ultimately going to feed into, I think, how the market is probably going to respond positively, regardless of actually who wins the election. I think like, you know, there's just so many different projects chains, a lot of just like a lot of development in Web3 that's happening not only in the United States, but I mean more so, I would say, even like Southeast Asia. So I'm always an up only guy as well. So it could be biased, but at the same time, I think like, my way of thinking is kind of shared, I would say, with like the macro, even micro kind of like trading like narrative right now. So yeah, those are my 2 cents, I guess.
No, I love it, man. I broadly agree. Like, I think we are getting closer to like an awful lot more automation, which is cool. An awful lot more we're getting close to a halfway decent UX, which is nice in the crypto world. Considering where we started out, it's really nice to see. Still need to figure out the whole like actually getting like a new user on board, but for actual current users, like the level of automation, like really cool tools like Warcraft, it's really nice to see that level of UX coming in. So, great. Thank you very much for your opinion on that one. Just a quick reminder, everyone, because I didn't actually do it at the start of the show. I'm being a bad host, apparently. I need you, if you could just give me a moment of your time, if you could just drop down to the bottom right-hand side of your screen, I think, on most phones and devices. Purple pill, if you can give us a like and a comment and a retweet on this space, absolutely amazing. We try and keep these spaces educational. Education should be shared. It should be shared widely. So if you can, please just give us a share and give us your input. Again, any questions for Misha or for myself even can go in the YouTube chat primarily. That would be super helpful. Or if you are in Twitter, in the comments below the post, that would be super cool. Right. So Misha, one more thing, because it's a really interesting topic and very close to my heart. Coinbase. So Coinbase actually reported its very first AI to AI crypto transaction in the last week or so. I'm just kind of wondering, like, I can give you a bit of context, perhaps. Let's bring that up. So basically what they did was they transferred essentially AI tokens between each other, but using crypto networks. It was very simple transaction, so I won't go too deep into it. But Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, said at the end of this article here, it turns out that everyone benefits from having access to good financial services, including AIs. I'd love to get your opinion on AI integration into crypto financial services from your perspective as a financial service provider. That'd be super cool.
Sure. I mean, there's certain, let's say, like AI elements or features that we've been looking into. I mean, I think like intent-based sort of like technology that's being integrated into crypto, more so like DeFi. So basically, intent being that there is a result that you can basically tell the AI or contract, however you set it up, to achieve, and you as the user don't necessarily have to know how it does it. It just does it for you, and like that's where AI becomes like very powerful. And the fact that it gets better at doing so is it's, I don't want to say scary, but I mean it's something that I think like people really can't comprehend or can't wrap their head around on how exponentially it's going to change the industry. I think we're still very much at like the bottom of that exponential curve.
I think you're 100%.
And then if you just also like take a look at, if you think about like that scenario where AI sends AI to or it sends a token between themselves, right? Market makers, for example, that trade digital assets for, or as like a business model, think about like how that can basically revolutionize like their business model. I mean, right now they have algorithms specifically that are dependent on however many different economic variables, as well as whatever the provider of the digital asset wants, if it's like volume on a centralized exchange, or if it's like a specific like alpha or delta neutral strategy. These are all algorithms. Now imagine if you have AI that's actually like leveraging like those strategies and improving on them. I mean, things get like very, very interesting really fast. I don't think anyone really can comprehend like what that's going to look like. But I mean, I think
you
AI.
said the word scary earlier. I kind of like that. It's getting close to scary. It's getting close to scary in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's. I mean, the AI to AI transaction is a very good indicator on like where the industry is heading for sure.
What's your opinion? Like, because I don't know how much exactly you know about Galactica. Galactica is like it's an identity stack. It's its own L1 that provides for sovereign identities and reputation on chain while maintaining user rights like privacy. So, what like in regards to identity, what do you how do you think DeFi protocols will handle autonomous AI agents? Like, and do you think that brings up any ethical or moral quandaries when they're interacting with humans? Do you think like they need to be very clearly labeled as AI, for example?
Interesting question. I mean, I come from the perspective of being a contributor of a DeFi protocol. Fully embracing like the sovereign individual, having a financial playground that anyone can access. In terms of so like that being said, I'm very much anti KYC, and I don't know if I should really be saying that, but I mean, I am working on a DeFi protocol that allows anyone basically permissionlessly to access our technology. So with reputation, I think that you can kind of associate that or relate it to like credit scores. I mean, like I think that's something that could definitely be improved on. I mean, there's so many bad actors in crypto, and if AI can possibly change that somehow, and I'm like very, very much like a novice, like in this space. I only know I only follow what obviously what's being written in like the tech outlets and stuff. But I mean, if that can somehow interject and improve like reputation and while maintaining like privacy, but also proving that there are, let's say, reputable players in the space. I think like that could be really interesting. I don't know how exactly it would get done, but I mean, I think like, for sure someone is working on that. If not you guys, then a bunch of others as well.
That's exactly what we're working on. Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, no, 100%. So we're using like zero knowledge tech. We're using homomorphic encryption, which is basically the next big step in this stuff in privacy tech, in order to allow people to be like compliant on chain, bring their off chain like credentials, reputation, everything from off chain as well as on chain, put it all into one identity while maintaining their like privacy, protecting them from like being identified via like just connecting data points, that kind of thing. It's very complex, big protocol. The point is that that's exactly the kind of thing we're doing. So yeah, no, it's super interesting. I'd actually love to get into a bigger conversation about that with you, but I'd actually really like to focus on the main topic too, because it's actually super interesting for the listeners here. So yeah, perfect. Thank you again for your opinion on that one. That's like I say, AI is such a massive topic, and I can always go on for hours on it. Right. Okay, everyone. Quick reminder: please give us a like and a retweet on the space, guys. This is going to be the basically the main topic that we're going to be discussing. So we've put in the title here: DeFi do's and DeFi don'ts. On YouTube, it's like making the most of DeFi. Basically, my intention, Misha, is to kind of pick your brains, try and figure out from the perspective of maybe a newish user a couple of questions that I would like to get answered. So first things first, though, I'd kind of like to get to know you, like just make sure that like you kind of covered everything in the intro, to be honest, actually. But what exactly is Vaultcraft? I mean, you've got like a couple of like marketing taglines on your X account that I'd like to just ask you about in question. So you said on your Twitter account, just bring here. Leading the vaultification of DeFi and BTCFi. That's a lot of acronyms, and that's some other words. I would love for you to break that down, just so we have a bit of an understanding of exactly what it means.
Sure. So leading the vaultification of DeFi and BTCFi means that we are providing the infrastructure for decentralized finance, and now that Bitcoin is entering decentralized finance, and people are calling it BTCFi, we are providing the infrastructure for strategies to be incorporated in basically these passively earning type structured products. This is something that we have been anticipating, I guess, like since the beginning of DeFi. If you can say like that was the, if 2020 DeFi summer 2020 was like the birth point of DeFi, I think my team and I we discussed like, okay, at some point when we do go through another bear market, another bull run, there will be that much more institutional demand, which means there will be a ton of these type of institutional partners as well as retail that will want products that are super safe and secure. They're audited, that can handle a billion plus of TVL, total value locked in contracts. And in 2024, January 11th was the day that the Bitcoin ETF was approved, and a month ago the ETH ETF was approved. So in terms of like institutional demand, I would say like those two milestones like quantifiably prove that the institutions are here. They are trading digital assets, obviously your blue chips, Bitcoin and Ethereum. And given that DeFi has proven to earn significant yield, even higher than obviously like treasury yields now. Now that even though we're in like a little lull of this bull run, we're very much going into it. That is what I meant by the vaultification of DeFi and BTCFi, basically infrastructure that can handle earning yield on any digital asset.
Super cool, super cool. Like actual infrastructure that can handle the whole scalability front of crypto, while maintaining decentralization and the speed you require to actually
Exactly.
Got you. Okay, well, first things first, on our little educational journey here, I'd like to go in assuming that we have like a new user. Let's call her Donna. She's maybe had a crypto wallet for a while. She's dabbled in trading tokens, probably lost some money in the process, like the rest of us. She wants to learn how to maximize crypto investments intelligently. She has maybe a nice round figure of $1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000. Honestly, Misha, whatever fits your thought process. What kind of advice would you give to this mythical Donna as first steps to improve her DeFi position?
I mean, I would say what I say to Donna as I did to my close friends, family, whoever I was trying to inform early on, as well as now, about like how to approach getting involved into not only DeFi. I think crypto is basically the first step. You need to understand what a wallet does, or a non-custodial wallet. For example, these basic access points that connect you to the blockchain, whichever chain it is that you're using. So the first thing I would actually recommend would be to obtain Ethereum, USDC, USDT, or Bitcoin, an asset that is not volatile or has like minimum volatility comparatively to the rest of the market. Buy it on a decentralized exchange like Uniswap, CowSwap, and see what that experience is like. I was reading a thread the other day about like people basically arguing that the centralized exchange experience is a lot better than decentralized exchange experience, and I was like, that's interesting. I probably would have agreed with that 3 or 4 years ago, or even more. But I would say now, if you go to Uniswap, the UIs are so simple. Ultimately, you just need to first know how to get that Bitcoin or Ethereum in your wallet in order to swap it. So that's the first thing that I would recommend to do. Second thing is like once you understand that by connecting your wallet to the blockchain and swapping on a decentralized exchange, you could then go to a product like Vaultcraft, or a lending market like Aave or Compound, and then you can see and play around with how exactly you can leverage these are basically just like front ends, right? And then underneath there's just smart contracts. How you connect your wallet to any of these protocols, and then let's say like lend out your ETH, or deposit it into a strategy on Vaultcraft and earn yield. I would say like the UIs have definitely gotten better over the time. I mean, this is something that like we focus on at Vaultcraft, is trying to make it as simple as possible for a user to earn yield without having to really understand what it is that's happening underneath the hood. But as long as all like the metrics and variables are there, so in terms of how much you've deposited and how much yield you're earning, like those two things, like a user needs to see all the time. So I would say, after you learned how to swap on a decentralized exchange, use one of these protocols and see how you can earn yield. The UI should basically be simple enough for you to understand.
I love it. Yeah, and I would have to agree on the UI front. These at least the major protocols, they are incredibly intuitive. They really are. Once you actually onboard into crypto, anyway, like the actual onboarding process to crypto, the UX is it sucks.
Yeah, I agree for sure.
But once you're in, for sure, like these protocols are they are more simplistic and easier to understand than the sexes, for sure. Um, Prince Vegeta Shishu, welcome to the show. Kamehameha to you back as well. Sorry, our community is a bit wild. That word is really important to understand. Yield. Maybe you can just describe yield in basic terms, just so that anyone who is listening who doesn't understand can understand.
Sure. So I think yield is probably best explained in terms of the principal or the initial amount of, let's say, digital asset that you're trying to earn with. So let's say if you have $10 worth of USDC, and there's a product out there that is saying that it can earn 10% yield on that. That basically just means that, and I'm saying annualized APY, so annualized percentage yield. Basically, it just means that this product is taking your $10, shuffling it around into, if it's, or let's just say like whatever strategy it is right now, and then by the end of the year, you're going to end up with $1 more. So you're earning 10% on your $10. So that's what yield is basically the amount that you earn, the amount that you're earning on your USDC, given what you've deposited into whichever product.
Perfect. Absolutely beautiful. Another thing that you mentioned there, so APYs, for example, what is the difference between APY and APR? This would be something that would be a useful thing, because I see those terms kind of sometimes used interchangeably, but I believe there is quite a strong difference, isn't there not?
Yeah, I mean, annualized percentage yield and annualized percentage return. I mean, it's one is very much like taking a look at how much like you can earn the entire year versus like the return that you can get as time goes on, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I kind of get it. It's it's a very nuanced thing, and maybe you have to actually try these protocols to fully understand it.
Yeah, and I would say protocols kind of like use them interchangeably. The difference isn't necessarily so great if you actually do the math, but yeah, it's you'll see those two things basically interchangeably used.
Gotcha, completely understand. Everyone, just taking a very minor break here, just to give you guys the attendance code for this space for this live stream. If you are part of the crew who are using our community questing platform, the attendance code is VAULT with a capital V. That's VAULT. I want you to just repeat that. It's VAULT, capital VAULT. VAULT is your attendance code. I'll repeat it at the end of the show, just for anyone who missed it, but that will be the only other repetition. Okay, so Misha, one of the main things that is a problem in investing in general, in using yield strategies as well, and especially in crypto, is risk management. So I'm super curious as to kind of the advice you would give to our mythical Donna about risk management and where to start, how to actually manage our risk properly, especially in the volatile crypto space.
Yeah, sure. So ultimately, any of these protocols or assets, I mean, they are built on a blockchain. And risk management or due diligence, however you want to call it, is very important because this is ultimately open source software. So anyone can basically take one piece of open source software and copy it, and they can copy it again and copy it again. And as we've seen since basically software technology has existed, that like this is like super easy to do, and it kind of like exponentially increases the amount of different platforms or websites or whatever you want to call them out there. So like you can't just go to a Google search and type in something and then look at the first results, which, by the way, is a perfect example or what you call a phishing scam, where you click on a website and you get directed somewhere else, and then you connect your wallet, and your funds are liquidated from your wallet. But let's not get into that right now. But don't do that, by the way. that's one
No,
advice I
no.
would tell Donna as well. Like, do not ever do that. Funny enough, like just I guess because I'm talking about this, in crypto or in DeFi, typically like you want to go to the actual X handle or the Twitter space or Twitter handle to get the actual link to a protocol, or obviously like work with people that you trust and get the links there. But anyways, there's a lot of just due diligence you have to do on a protocol in general. I mean, for example, if you were to use Vaultcraft and you came about Vaultcraft for the first time, you'd want to see how long we've been around, and obviously like that's correlated with like how long our contracts have been around. There's this term like battle tested in crypto or DeFi, where the longer a contract has essentially been used and how many times it's been used, like the safer it is, because of the fact that it hasn't been exploited or taken advantage of. So that's a very important thing. And the only way you can really monitor something like that is basically taking a look at certain, websites like CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, or going into the docs of a protocol and seeing like when the protocol had launched. So like if something had launched tomorrow or yesterday and you were to put in a ton of your crypto, you should be very, very, very careful with what happens next, because this is how people potentially get like rugged. And you hear that term a lot in crypto, obviously. So, doing your
Sadly true. Yeah.
doing your due diligence on the team as well, seeing who's actually working on it. I mean, there's very much a playbook that you kind of have to apply. Crypto isn't something that you can basically just like buy, unless it's Bitcoin or Ethereum at this point, and play around with without expecting to lose your crypto. Like if you're trying to like make more crypto, and use certain products like Vaultcraft or money markets like on Aave, Compound, or these other exotic protocols like GMX, you need to understand like what they do. So like there's obviously your very simple type of protocols out there that like launch memes like pump.fun. But then there's the more complex ones like Curve, which we don't have to get into. But I mean, you really have to know exactly what you're doing, and understanding what the implications are and the dependencies are, because a lot of these things are very much built on top of each other. So there's, DeFi is basically just like, we call it like a Lego stack. Vaultcraft is, arguably a very good example of the Lego DeFi stack that is built on other protocols. So if there is a lot of protocol dependency, you need to really make sure that these protocols are audited, and multiple times over. So the more protocol is audited, like we're audited 6 times or more, I believe, the better. You can feel safe that if you deposit your crypto or use our products, that you're going to get your crypto back plus the yield that we promised you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think one of the primary things that I find myself doing whenever I'm looking at a new protocol and researching is look at the people first. So, like, you see if you can find out whatever you can about the people who actually made the thing, whatever their history is, what they've done before, what the community has thought of them before. If you can find such records, anything you can do to figure out like the legitimacy of the team is always a good first step. That old crypto adage applies everywhere. You don't trust, you verify. And in these cases, that is 100% the case always. We've got a couple of people talking in the chat. So we got Sir Blank. I understand your level of spoken English, or maybe my pronunciation of the code word. Do apologize. You know what? I'm going to repeat it once more before I do at the end of the stage. So so your attendance code is Vault. That's VAULT with a capital V. Okay, so Vault, not vote, Vault. So hopefully that helps. If you have a problem, then I'm sure one of our sentinels can help you. Yeah, absolutely. Just we've got Shishu Prince Vegeta in the chat, and she'll definitely help you. We've also got a bunch of sentinels in the Discord that you can ask. Right. So, speaking of choosing the right protocols, Misha, I'd love to get a little more info on Warcraft at this point. So, what what kind of person would want to use Warcraft? Who is your ideal user? Like what kind of person would want to actually use it?
Ideal user is anyone that wants to earn yields on their crypto. The platform or the protocol is permissionless. So we have a front end. It's app.vaultcraft.io, and that's an access point to our smart contracts. The smart contracts are open. They're immutable. Sorry, not open. I mean, they're open source technology where you can basically look at how they're constructed. And they are immutable, which means that once they are deployed on the blockchain, you can't change them, which is really important, especially when you're talking about generating yield with other users' crypto. So generally speaking, anyone that wants to earn yields can deposit their crypto. I would say our business model or go-to-market at this point in time is very much B2B focused, so business focused, meaning that we speak with a lot of exchanges, custodians, and wallets to integrate our smart contracts. For example, like we've integrated our smart contracts with OKX, which is one of the largest crypto exchanges out there. They have over like 50 million users. So like we focus on getting the integrations done and having that much more exposure to our contracts. But simultaneously, we do have a very interesting token economic model that I would say requires, for sure, some like financial understanding, basic financial understanding, as well as like how to operate DeFi. How to use the tools like your wallets. We have without going into too much detail, we have an option token model where users can earn this token that then they swap for a 25% discount and they arbitrage it. So this type of activity, I mean, it does require more of a savvy, let's say, DeFi user, which we have many of. But ultimately, the idea behind the UI and how we designed the UI UX was very much tailored for someone that just wanted to deposit in one click and earn yield. So I think at least from my perspective, and I think like also on the word on the street, I mean, our UI is quite clean. It's quite simple. You really can just connect your wallet, choose a vault, and deposit your crypto to start earning yield. You can monitor it. You can see how the yield is moving up and down. You can monitor your rewards. Ultimately, it's a very safe place to park your crypto.
Fantastic. Yeah, like I said, I'm always really proud of any crypto developer who is actually trying to improve the UX stuff. That's really amazing. So, do you have like any educational resources for a tool that you've published, or maybe just have a really helpful community, perhaps? What kind of do you prioritize teaching people as far as DeFi goes, or do you prefer to just provide the services and kind of let it ride?
Can you actually repeat the question one more time? I'm having a bit of difficulty.
Yeah,
I think the audio is
sure.
a bit screwed
No
up.
problem at all. No problem at all. I was just asking whether you prefer to just provide services and then let them ride, or whether you prefer to actually provide like educational services, maybe like some kind of educational materials for your users.
Yeah, we actually have crafted. Well, right now we have a very basic instruction manual on how to use Vaultcraft. Another thing that we're working on actually, and I had a call right before, was with like a very major exchange on creating an educational tutorial on how to use the protocol. So these like the education piece is very important. I think not only for us but for like any protocol. I think like anyone that's like coming into DeFi like via crypto, obviously, needs to be directed or guided. And the only people that can do that are the builders of the protocol. So we actually have a tutorial that we've created that we're going to be walking through users of a certain exchange that I can't necessarily say right now, but it'll walk them through exactly like how to deposit into Vaultcraft, how to earn yield, how to swap the option token for VCX, which is the governance token, and yeah, and monitor all of your trading activity basically. So education is very important. We talk about it all the time. I think, from my perspective, you can always do more. If it was possible for me to be on like a live stream every single day doing a demo to the community for like more than an hour, I would be doing it. But there's just obviously so many things that are happening, and with a small team comparatively to like these larger crypto organizations, don't have enough bandwidth. But education is super important. I wish I had more time for it.
Completely understandable. 100% understandable. We've just started our educational program only after we've discovered exactly what you're talking about. Bandwidth issues are always a problem. You want to help the users in every way you can. It's just really difficult to try and provide that level of education. So one more thing, I suppose. What kind of reason would you give to use Vaultcraft over perhaps any number of the competition that might be out there? So what would you say to someone? I've got a few reasons. Why should I use Vaultcraft?
Sure. I think in terms of yield generation for the assets that we have on the protocol right now is as competitive or even higher than what other DeFi protocols are offering. So that's one thing. Second thing is, like I said before, we have been audited by the best auditing firms 6 times over. Plus, we've had over 200 white hats look at our code. This is a space where you really only want to park your crypto into projects, protocols that have been audited as many times as they possibly can be, given like their resource constraints. We've been basically audited since we've launched, and even like pre Vaultcraft with Popcorn as like the first iteration. I mean, we've been audited up. We've been audited all along the way, as well as have bounties where white hats submit potential bugs that we have to take a look at and see if they're actually valid or not. Great thing is that most of them have not been valid, but there have been some where they weren't critical exploits, but like we fixed along the way. So a team that's like very much, let's say, I mean, I think it's a good thing being OCD, but I'm going to say like OCD about your contract and security is really like the way to go. Speaking on behalf of Vaultcraft, I want to say that we take obviously security, safety like very seriously. That's the second thing. Third thing, there's very much a handful of similar protocols in terms of doing vault management like we do. And when I say vault management, I mean managing strategies within a product that earns the highest yield possible. Like this space is very nuanced, starting to grow and expand. Given that there's other players that have built like specific products for specific protocols. We took the position a couple of years back of we need to build something that's scalable, and also that's something super flexible for not only us to use internally, but for other protocols to come on board and create their own type of vault strategies, and then run with it. So we're not quite there yet, but in terms of like the infrastructure that we've set up, like it's very much there, and it's for sure the only thing in existence. I mean, like if you deposit into other products like like Vaultcraft, you'll see that it's basically just like a standalone type of thing. But with us, not only like do we have multiple vault strategies, we have infrastructure where anyone can come to us or on their own deploy their own vault within like an hour. Actually, even less. If it's more complicated, then we provide white glove service. But if you just want like a simple lending market strategy that's auto compounding yield, without going into that too much, that can be deployed within like 5 minutes. So there's no other protocol that can do what we do in that case.
Absolutely incredible. No, I love it, I especially like the attention to detail and security stuff. Honestly, like I know it's like you've obviously got those other unique selling points, but my heart is definitely with genuine builders who are like going with the audits, who are making sure that the financial services that they provide, even if they're like fully decentralized, are good for the user, who are generally building for the user. So absolutely incredible. Well done. That's fantastic. I would actually love to see how Vaultcraft might integrate with Galactica in some way. We've got to have a conversation at some point because like we're doing some really really interesting stuff with people. You're doing some really interesting stuff with finance. It might be interesting to have that conversation. There's some good
For
stuff there,
sure.
I think. Right. Okay. Well, I'm being told that my sound quality has reduced somewhat in the chats. Is that about right, Misha? Is it being
It
strong?
is, but I can infer like what you're saying. I hear most of what you're saying, but there's a bit of a crackling. But on my end, I understand everything you're saying.
Okay, no problem at all. I will just try and speak very clearly, and we will just try and wind this down now, just so it doesn't impair the quality of the stream for the users. So I think this has been a very, very educational space. I'm going to ask one final question of you, Nisha, and then we'll wind it down. What do you do? You have any? Do you have any call outs? Do you have any CTAs? Do you have anyone you would like to shout out? Would you have any campaigns going right now with Vaultcraft? Anything that you would like to call out for our listener panel?
Yeah, for sure. So we're actually about to release like a groundbreaking like new vault for BTC. Um, and just some more context on that. So Bitcoin has been very much this like standalone peer-to-peer digital asset that obviously is like the the golden standard, let's say, of like digital assets. It has the highest market cap, fully diluted valuation. Everyone knows about Bitcoin. The Bitcoin ETF launched this year. The thing about Bitcoin, though, was that it has never been incorporated into smart contracts. And what that means is that it has never been used as an asset that can be shuffled around on Ethereum or even like L2s. Obviously you have like wrapped Bitcoin, and that's something that's provided by BitGo, a centralized institution, by the way. Um, Bitcoin is now a decentralized asset that now could be incorporated into decentralized finance. And what we've done is we've created strategies leveraging other protocols that earn significant yield using the specific liquid Bitcoin. Um, we've put it into a Vaultcraft smart vault. And so we're launching, I believe, the first smart vault in collaboration with Lombard Finance, who you can look into, who's been kind of one of the premier players, I would say, in the liquid Bitcoin space. That's like providing LBTC. We're providing infrastructure for users that want exposure to all different markets for LBTC in one vault. So basically, if you have wrapped Bitcoin or liquid Bitcoin, you could deposit into Vaultcraft, and you'll be earning yield in all of these markets. You won't have to actually go anywhere and do the manual sort of farming or staking. This is all something that is done in the vault. It's a vault that's been audited by Paladin. The infrastructure even before that has been audited by multiple auditing services, and that is the next product that's coming out in the next week or so. And there's going to be a lot of promotion and PR and in partnership with Lombard, as well as other exchanges and wallets on there that we're integrating with. So that's something that we're very much pushing our chips in, not only with this vault, but I mean on Bitcoin or BTC Fi. We also have other vaults that are coming out with multiple strategies where they're earning significant yield on stablecoins, but also on ETH. We're actually There's so many things that are happening right now on the Vaultcraft side, but I don't want to go into too much of it. I think like those two things are definitely the most important. So I'll leave it at that.
Oh yes, absolutely, man. I just really like to give people who come on the show the opportunity to like really let the listeners know what they've got. Yeah, guys, if you want to try and maybe make your money work for you a bit better, then I think I can pretty confidently say that Misha is a genuine builder. I won't say much more than that. Like I say, we're not promising financial advice here. Just I like to see genuine people in this space. Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us, Misha. I really, really appreciate your input here. Thank you for joining on short notice as well, because we had someone else planned for this space. For anyone who didn't know, however, they couldn't make it. So thank you for joining us on short notice, Misha. It's really, really
Yeah,
cool.
no worries. No, thanks for having me here. I had a good time.
Of course, man. Of course. Just as promised, I hope everyone can hear me clearly enough. The attendance code for this space is VAULT. That's VAULT with a capital V at the beginning. Okay, VAULT. So if you want to complete your quest, that's the result. I believe the Sentinels have the correct code. So if you're really, really struggling, then DM a Sentinel. I'm sure they'll help you out. Within the next couple of hours, we don't know what cheating. Yeah. All right. Well, everyone, thank you very much for joining us. This is Into the Cypher State. This is a weekly show from Galactica.com. We do this show generally every Wednesday. We're doing it at 3 o'clock CET today. Normally, we're actually hosting this at 8 o'clock UTC in the evening. But sometimes we'll switch this around a bit to serve different audiences. We also host town halls every Monday and every Friday. So if you want to join in the Galactica community, if you're new, then make sure that that's one of your first ports of call on the Discord or on the Telegram. Join us on the town halls. We're happy to answer any question whatsoever. We like to make ourselves available. Other than that, guys, please, I would just love you to enjoy the rest of your week. I'd like to thank Misha once more for joining us. He's been absolutely epic. Really, really like the concept of Bullcraft, and we'll definitely be having some more conversations, I'm sure. Other than that, guys, please just enjoy the rest of your week. I hope you have a good one, and I hope to see you on the next episode of Into the Cypher State. Have a good one, everyone. See you soon. That's my Telegram. There we go.